In this video, we're going to see how to replace the background in an image. Here I have two images open, a mountain view and a moonscape. Remember, we can go back and forth between the two images just by clicking on the tabs. So there's my moonscape and there's my mountain view. We're going to start with a picture of the mountains first. Now the first thing you're going to do to select the area that you're going to delete is to click on the selection brush tool. That's this tool with the little marching ants around it. So when you click on that, then you'll get a little circle, and that's the selection brush. Now this selection brush is a little bit small for what we're going to do initially, so I'm going to change that to about 150 pixels to make it a little bit bigger. And that's because I'm going to be selecting all of this in order to get rid of it. So click on the sky, and you'll see we have our friends, the marching ants, and then paint on the selection. And you'll see that it tries to grab the mountains. Let's get all of it as we can. And so now this looks pretty good. Now don't freak out if it's not perfect, because what we're going to do is we're going to use the refine option to get rid of these little places like that and all those other things that we've got to get rid of. So let's go back over here and change the brush to 50 to make it a little bit smaller, because we're going to be working with some smaller areas. Okay, now the first thing we want to do is to refine this. So we're going to click on the refine button. And when we click on the refine button, our refine selection box opens up and our mountain turns red. Now see these parts of the mountain that are sticking out that aren't red? Well, we're going to be painting over them, and so we'll be expanding our selection. So just so that I can get rid of everything, I'm going to paint over the entire edge of the mountain all the way around so I can cover my bases. Okay, and once you unclick it, it's going to think about it, and then notice that these places are now gone. Okay, so now we have that, and we're going to click apply. So our marching ants are back. You'll notice that these places on the mountains that were sticking out are now selected, so we're in good shape. But are we? If you take a look at the mountain, you're going to see that we've got some ants that we don't want. So we're going to have to exterminate these ants right here. And so what I'm going to do is to, first of all, zoom in a little. So I'll go up to view and then zoom in. And I don't like that. I'll zoom in some more. So that should be about enough of the zoom. And we can have a better look at where the ants are. Now obviously this brush is a little bit too big to get on our extraneous ants. So I am going to bring this down to 25 pixels and see if we can't make this a little bit smaller. Now, the first thing that you might want to check is to look at the mode over here. The mode is going to have to be on subtract, because we're going to be subtracting those ants that are now a bother. So we make sure that's on subtract, and then we're going to go up here on these ants, and we're going to click on them. And presto, they're gone, just like magic. Well, it's not magic, it's technology, but it's the magic of technology. Let's just put it that way. Then, see, we've got this group right here. We don't want them. So we're going to click on that. Click on this little group. And sometimes it selects a lot of them that are in there. Let's go over to this side and see if we have any extraneous ants that are popping up. Sometimes on these mountain things, you're still going to have the little crooks and crannies that you can't see. And we want to make sure, oops, there's some more. Swat 'em right there. Okay, so now we can go down here. And I think we should be good to go. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to View and Zoom to Fit. And we've got our picture back to normal place. And I'm going to scope it out a little bit just to make sure. Okay, now what we need to do now is to get rid of the sky. And all you have to do is to press the delete key. And that will get rid of the sky. And once we get rid of the sky, we can get rid of the ants by just going select and deselect, and our ants are gone. Okay, so we have that part the way we want it. Now what we want to do is to click on the moonscape, and we're going to go up to Edit, and then Copy, and then go back to the mountain scenery, and go Edit, and then Paste. And then our moon gets pasted over the mountain. Now the mountain didn't disappear. You have two layers over here, notice, and the one on the top is going to cover up the one on the bottom. What we want to do is we want to move the background layer down here. Let's make sure our Move tool is selected. And then we can move around. No, see, this is selected. Make sure that you've got the one you want to move selected, not the wrong one. So now we can move this picture around until we get our moon the way we want it. Now there's going to be some limitations on this. And see how part of the background is starting to show? So you can only go up as high as the background is. And so there we can get the optimum picture. Now, so keep that in mind that you're going to be limited on what the images are. It was probably a good idea on this, before that you ever did this, is to check and see what the pictures were in relation to each other. Because if you want the moon way over here, obviously you're not going to be able to do that because look at that. See, you're going to have the background showing, so you can't do that. So if you want the moon over there, then you're going to have to tweak the image before you even start doing this. So that's one way you can replace the background of an image using Affinity Photo 2. If you're a beginner at all this, like I am, you might want to go back and review the previous videos. Why do I suggest this? Because I just did that myself to make sure that I remembered everything from what I put in the videos. Remember, you can get your images to practice with from Pixabay.com. That's where I get mine. At this point, I'm trying to push out 1 to 2 Affinity photos a week, so remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to stay with the program and keep me on my toes.